Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're actually tearing down a trap that the tech industry has been stuck in for way too long. I'm talking about the old school hire for keywords mindset. Instead, we're looking at a massive shift toward an outcome-driven, prepare for success mindset. Our core focus today, uncovering exactly why hiring prep builds success. We're going to dive deep into the Correct Code talent partnership to see how this active preparation completely changes the game for engineers, product owners, recruiters, the whole shebang. So let's get right into it.
To start things off, I want you to picture a scenario that I guarantee feels a little too familiar. You've just finished interviewing a candidate who looks absolutely flawless on paper. I mean, they hit every single buzzword on the job description. They confidently nailed the hypothetical whiteboard problems during the tech screen. You leave the room giving high fives thinking, yes, we finally found the perfect hire. But then, day one arrives, week one passes. That same candidate gets handed their first truly complex, ambiguous task, and suddenly, that interview confidence just completely evaporates into sheer dread. Which forces us to ask a pretty uncomfortable question. Is a great interview actually enough? Does an impressive performance in a totally controlled, hypothetical environment really translate to on-the-job success when things inevitably get messy?
Okay, let's dive into this and unpack the disconnect here. For years, the industry has dangerously confused two very different things, being qualified and being ready. On one hand, you've got the illusion of the qualified candidate. This persona is defined entirely by resume keywords and a heavily rehearsed interview performance. It's purely theoretical, right? But on the other hand, you have the reality of a prepared engineer. This is someone who is actually equipped to navigate deep ambiguity. They can handle intense production pressure. Because let's face it, a keyword on a piece of paper doesn't teach someone how to troubleshoot a failing microservice at 2 a.m. The gap between these two concepts, between simply appearing qualified and genuinely being prepared for the role, is exactly where companies bleed time, money, and morale.
Section 1. Why tech roles fail. Or, as we like to call it, the reality crash. Now, what's really interesting about this is looking at the actual root causes of why these roles fall apart. Engineers almost never fail because they suddenly forgot a coding language or missed a specific keyword on their resume. They fail because of a reality crash. They step into a complex, breathing business environment filled with totally unclear requirements. Think about it. An engineer who is an absolute genius at algorithms gets handed a vague feature request from a non-technical stakeholder where they have to deal with a fragile, undocumented deployment pipeline. Suddenly, they're forced to make really tough architectural trade-offs, they're facing massive production pressure, and totally unexpected communication expectations. They're essentially thrown into the deep end of production realities without a life vest. And honestly, all that algorithmic genius can't save them if they aren't prepared for the broader business context.
So the crucial point we need to take away here is that it is literally never about the keywords. A good resume does not equal a good hire. And a successful isolated technical screen absolutely does not equal a successful real-world deployment. When your hiring strategy relies on just matching buzzwords, the business cost is frankly staggering. You're looking at months of lost onboarding time, immense frustration for the rest of the team picking up the slack, and eventually expensive churn. If an engineer isn't explicitly prepared for the actual context of your specific environment, all the technical knowledge in the world isn't going to stop them from struggling the second the pressure is on.
Section 2. The Preparation Solution, featuring Correct Code's 90-day boot camp. Check this out. Hiring someone who appears qualified is not the same thing as preparing them to succeed in the actual role. I absolutely love this quote from the source material because it forces a complete paradigm shift. Why this matters for your team is that it pulls us away from this passive, hope for the best approach to talent acquisition. You really can't just throw a new hire into the fire and cross your fingers they figure it out. It demands active, intentional investment. It requires a structured preparation phase to actually bridge the gap between getting the job offer and delivering real value on the job. For the engineers themselves, this kind of active preparation is incredibly empowering. It directly addresses the intense imposter syndrome and pressure they feel when stepping into a brand new code base. It gives them a structured, safe runway to grow far beyond their interview performance. We're talking about moving way past theoretical textbook learning and diving straight into rigorous technical reasoning. They learn how to actually design systems at scale, make those tough DevOps and architecture decisions, and, maybe most importantly, master technical communication so they can defend those decisions to business stakeholders. Through intensive, hands-on practice in a high-stakes 90-day bootcamp environment, they aren't just memorizing syntax. They're mastering the exact, messy reality of day-to-day production work they're going to face the moment they join your team.
Section 3. Role-Aligned Development. and how we're fixing generic training.
And this brilliantly illustrates how to fix the fatal flaws of generic one-size-fits-all training. It relies on a targeted, three-step rhythm that asks exactly what a specific person needs to be ready for a specific environment. First, they rigorously assess the gap. This is absolutely crucial because you don't want to waste time teaching an engineer things they already know. You measure their existing experience against the exact role and the client's unique expectations. Second, you build a curriculum. You craft a highly customized roadmap centered exclusively around that specific gap. And third, and honestly, this is where the magic really happens, they apply in context. A consultant actively helps the candidate apply these newly sharpened skills directly to their actual work. It's not done in a vacuum. It's highly targeted, hyper-relevant, and you can apply it immediately.
Section 4. Winning together through the ecosystem approach. Let's move on and see how this builds a cascading series of wins for every single stakeholder involved. This preparation layer completely transforms the entire hiring ecosystem. Think about the recruiters and talent partners for a second. Their old struggle was incredibly stressful, right? Their influence and ability to guarantee quality just stopped at placement. Now, while they continue to expertly source and screen, adding this robust preparation layer bridges that terrifying gap to actual post-interview performance. Then you have the product owners. They used to spend their days dealing with endless confusion, miscommunications, and super expensive code rework. Now they get the massive relief of stronger delivery confidence and vastly improved technical conversations. And for the engineers themselves, instead of the intense anxiety of being thrown to the wolves on day one, they arrive ready. They're ready for complex systems, they're confident in their decisions, and they're prepared to take true technical ownership.
Let's elaborate on that immense relief for the product owners, because they depend entirely on the capability of their engineering teams to hit business goals. When you bring in a prepared engineer, they transform from being just a ticket taker who writes code into a true technical partner. They actually understand the overarching business goals. Instead of freezing up when faced with ambiguity, they know how to reason through it. They ask significantly better questions and can clearly articulate the trade-offs of different approaches. Most importantly, they can take a vague, messy business requirement and confidently translate it into a practical, solid technical decision. This fundamentally changes the speed and the quality of product development. Less confusion, less rework, and a team that is perfectly aligned with the product's vision. This is the ultimate payoff of investing in real preparation.
When you put all of these pieces together, the entire philosophy of the Correct Code Talent Partnership really comes fully into focus. It is entirely about reframing talent development around actual, tangible outcomes. This is exactly why hiring prep builds success. The ultimate goal isn't just to fill a headcount or get a warm body in a seat. It's about ensuring that talent becomes truly ready for the high-level communication, the complex architectural decisions, and the deep ownership that real-world production environments demand. It transforms the hiring process from a highly stressful gamble into a predictable, reliable pipeline of incredibly capable technical partners.
Which leaves us with one final, vital question to reflect on for your own teams. Are you just hiring talent, or are you preparing it to succeed? By shifting our focus from simply qualifying candidates based on past keywords to actively bridging the gap to their future performance, we can build stronger engineers, better technical partners, and ultimately, far more successful companies.